In a world where power often dictates the course of events, it's not uncommon to find systems plagued by corruption. This corruption can manifest in various forms, from bribery and embezzlement to nepotism and fraud. The very institutions that are supposed to serve the public good sometimes become the breeding grounds for unethical behavior. It's a disheartening reality that affects millions of lives, eroding trust in governance and undermining the foundations of democracy. When we turn on the news, we often see headlines about corruption scandals that shake the very core of our societies. These stories reveal the dark underbelly of politics and governance, where decisions are made not for the benefit of the people, but to serve the interests of a select few. The impact of such corruption is far-reaching, leading to the misallocation of resources, stunted economic growth, and a general sense of disillusionment among the populace. Imagine this: governing bodies making decisions not for the people's benefit, but to line their pockets or help allies. Why does this happen? The reasons are complex and multifaceted. Often it's the result of a lack of transparency and accountability. When there are no checks and balances, those in power can easily exploit their positions for personal gain. This lack of oversight creates an environment where corruption can thrive, unchecked and unchallenged. Lobbyists with deep pockets and influential connections often have more sway over policy decisions than the average citizen. This creates a system where money talks, and the voices of ordinary people are drowned out. The result is a government that serves the interests of the wealthy and powerful, rather than the needs of the many. This is not just a problem in one country or region, it's a global issue that requires a concerted effort to address. Often it's the result of a lack of transparency and accountability. When government actions are shrouded in secrecy, it becomes difficult for citizens to hold their leaders accountable. This opacity allows corruption to flourish, as there is little fear of repercussions. However, the fight against corruption is not a lost cause. There are ways to combat this pervasive issue and restore faith in our institutions. But let's not lose hope. There are countless individuals and organizations fighting to make a difference. From whistleblowers to activists, they are challenging the status quo, advocating for justice, and pushing for reforms. These brave souls risk their careers, and sometimes their lives, to expose wrongdoing and demand accountability. Their efforts are a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. There are countless individuals and organizations fighting to make a difference. From whistleblowers to activists, they're challenging the status quo, advocating for justice, and pushing for reforms. These efforts are not in vain. Every act of courage, every protest, and every call for transparency brings us one step closer to a world where integrity prevails over corruption. They're challenging the status quo, advocating for justice, and pushing for reforms. Grassroots campaigns and protest marches are powerful tools in this fight. They bring attention to issues that might otherwise be ignored and put pressure on those in power to enact change. Courtroom battles, too, play a crucial role in holding corrupt officials accountable and setting legal precedents that deter future misconduct. It's crucial for us to support these efforts, engage in dialogues, and raise awareness. Community forums and group discussions are essential for fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. By coming together to share information and ideas, we can build a collective understanding of the issues at hand and develop strategies to address them. Awareness campaigns, whether through posters, social media, or public events, help to keep the conversation alive and ensure that the fight against corruption remains a priority. Change doesn't happen overnight, but every small step counts. Individual actions, no matter how small, can collectively lead to significant change. Whether it's participating in a community cleanup event, attending a local government meeting, or simply staying informed about the issues, every effort contributes to the larger goal of creating a more just and transparent society. By empowering citizens, educating the youth, and promoting ethical governance, we can aspire to a world where integrity prevails over corruption. Education plays a vital role in this process. By teaching young people about the importance of ethics and accountability, we can cultivate a new generation of leaders who are committed to serving the public good. Community workshops and educational programs provide the tools and knowledge needed to navigate the complexities of governance and advocate for positive change. And promoting ethical governance, we can aspire to a world where integrity prevails over corruption. Ethical leaders set the tone for the rest of society. When those in power demonstrate a commitment to transparency and accountability, it inspires others to do the same. Successful legislative reforms, driven by the collective efforts of citizens and leaders alike, pave the way for a future where corruption is the exception, not the rule. Together, we can build a world where justice and integrity are the cornerstones of governance.